Do you have to have an agent? Do you have to have an entertainment lawyer to do it? How do you get them into the project? And a second question is it worth it to budget in one day of shooting with Danny Trejo for $25,000 so he could put his name on the movie?
Yes. I mean, Bruce Willis, does all those crappy action movies for like $1 million for a day. He no longer does those. He quit doing that. But I mean, if you're gonna do it, yeah, I mean, make sure the money you're spending, the actor is worth it. For sure. It's hard. It's like Danny Trejo, maybe, but again, now he's plastered himself on all those low-budget action films. But exactly. But I'm saying Bruce Willis literally was like all those Emmett Furla action movies that you see on Netflix that you never saw in theaters. Like, he was doing a day for $1 million. He doesn't do that anymore. But there are actors that will do that. So yes, that is. Just make sure that it's a name actor. Try to consult a sales agent, to get that information, that it actually helps you. To get to these actors, I mean, I don't know. It's like, I know these agents at CAA, WME, I deal with them every day, but unless I'm putting a real offer in with real money, I mean, does it get to them? Sometimes if I'm lucky, but just any way to get directly to them that you possibly can. Your friend knows their personal assistant. And what I like to do is I try to attack it from the personal and professional way. So it's just like, hey, put in an offer and like, oh, by the way, get the word to them. Like, hey, there's an offer in now for you. Because it's like, you can put in an offer and say, once the money comes. But they typically don't take that. Maybe they take it a little more serious than just calling up and saying, hey, I've got this project. If you put a letter together and just say, once the money comes, we're going to give you $500,000 or whatever kind of thing, it won't get you too much traction. But if you hit it from the agent representation side and the personal connection side, for sure. But I don't know what the magic answer is to get a name actor on.
I use the phrase a pay or play offer. I'm not sure some of you probably know what that is, but it's basically a guaranteed offer. So it's one thing to send an offer to an agent and say it's contingent on financing. Those are probably not going to get you too far, especially with name actors. If you have the funds, and I wouldn't say a lot of times, but there have been situations, including one that I'm involved in now, where the money raised was just the first tranche. The first amount was simply to make a pay-or-play offer to the name actor. And it worked, and now we've been able to raise the rest of the money based on the fact that we have this name actor attached. What you do need to be really careful about, because there has been litigation about this, is using somebody's name who hasn't, contractually committed to your project. I mean, just because, Bob Smith at a party said, yeah, that sounds really interesting, maybe I'd be interested, you talk to my agent. You can't be out there at AFM saying that Bob's attached to your project, because you're using his name or Susie's name, whatever, without really having the right to do so. Attachment letters are pretty much worthless. I'm not even sure why one would bother getting a letter of interest from somebody. The last thing I'll say, and I'm sure Cole would agree with this, is that if you can get something through, like you said, the personal assistant, but in terms of representation, I have found it easier to go through someone's management than their agent.
All right, just so you know, your questions, if you have questions that don't get answered here, you can email us at Filmmakers Alliance, and we'll send them out to the panelists, and then you'll get your questions answered. So don't feel like you're not going to get your questions answered. We're going to start with the next panel right away. We sort of disassembled a little too much the last time. I'd like to kind of keep you guys tight and paying attention, and because we're just going to keep rolling back in. We're starting this one in 2 minutes, 11:05. So, and don't make me